Yo, 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 what up, what up? It's your boy Dave Vito, and we are back for episode 2 of Dead Religion. We have been on the series Relationship versus Religion, and we are going to dive a little bit deeper in this episode. But before that, I am not alone. I got the man who puts the Saints in New Orleans. It is Jerome Colbert. Say what's up to the people, man.
Thank you, bro. What's going on, good people? We are back again just to share some more love and just talk about what God is doing in our life and how He's transforming all of us.
That's right, that's right. And listen, if you like apple bottom jeans and boots with the fur, you gonna like my next guest all the way from Florida. It's my boy, the one and only Anthony Munoz. What's up to the people, man?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be back again and hope to dive deeper in some of these subjects, and hopefully we can inspire some people out there. So stay tuned, it's going to be great.
Absolutely. And before we get to the big question of the day, shout out to my brother for Vision of Alignment. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Vision of Alignment, where if you want to get some swagger and you want to look fresh to death and you need some church clothes, man, please go to Vision of Alignment. Go to visionofalignment.com, visit all social media pages at Vision of Alignment, and go and copy some gear because they just fresh to death. Listen, man. Our big question today. Last week we talked about what is it like to be in relationship with God. Our big question this week is, what is it like to be in religion with God?
Ooh, do people even know what that means?
Ooh, let's break it down. Why don't we tell the people what that means?
People even know what that? Yeah, for real. I'll start by saying that to be in religion with God is something that, you know, people don't really hear that. Like that's like a whole different time. What do you mean to be in a religion with God? Well, when you're in a constant routine and everything is the same, nothing changes. You know, you say your same prayers, you say your same thing, and it's almost like a hamster wheel. For me, to be in religion with God, because religion is, in all honesty, it's just a difference of opinions. Really, I mean, one religion believes one thing, the other religion believes some of that, but not all of it, so they believe their own thing, and then another religion believes, they don't believe anything that religion believes, they believe in this, and they're all reading one book. It's all coming from the same page, and everything's, you know, just different, and that's really just people's opinion. So, and what being in religion with God, or being religious, or religion in general, what they teach for me is fear. It's fear-based. It's not love-based. It's based off of fear. Oh, don't do that. You're going to go to hell. You're going to hell if you even say that, or this and that and that. So it's constant judgment, and people will live their life off of that, living off of fear, and like, oh, well, I can't do this because then I'm going to hell, and I can't say this and I'm going to hell. I can't date this girl because I'm going to go to hell. And like, so people literally restrict themselves from the freedom that God offers, because there is grace, obviously, and God knows that we all fall short. But religion will teach you, hey, you can't do that. And so you're like walking over like glass or eggshells.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm hearing what you're saying, it sounds like what you're saying is that religion hinders relationships with God and with people.
Absolutely.
You know why I think so many people haven't heard of being in religion with God? Because they actually think they're in relationship with Him, and they can't tell the difference.
Yes.
What you got, Jerome?
I 100% agree with Anthony, because I felt when I was in religion, quote unquote, that it was scripted. And that's what kind of turned me off, because I felt like I was told, or I was showed how to move and how to navigate. And as I grew and started having a relationship and creating identity with God, that pendulum switched for me. Because on Sundays, like back in the day, we had to be at church at a certain time. We had to do this certain thing at church. We had to dress this certain way. We had to wear like the white button-ups with the khaki. We like to swag it out. Relationship with God. And that's where, you know, when you scripted, feeling like you scripted, you have those connotations in your mind that it only is supposed to be this way. So you feel kind of like you said, you're in a hamster wheel, or you're trapped in a box, to where if you walk outside of that box, you think outside of that box, people are going to shun you and going to cast stones at you
Yeah.
when that's not relationship or religion
Yes.
with God. Like, why would people judge you?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to judge.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in that. And
I agree.
And God
That's
don't want you on a
uncomfortable for a lot of
hamster
people.
wheel. Like, life is.
God don't want you in the rat race.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But everybody's in the rat race trying to get it. Yeah.
Hey, there's more to me than what you think, than what they're teaching you and all this other stuff. They're putting you in this box and saying, I'm holier than thou, follow my lead, and, you know, you're my sheep, I'm the shepherd, you know, and all that. And that's not what God called us to do. You know,
You guys are hitting on some really, really good points. And so, I share the same sentiment as the both of you. And if I was to define this, or if I was to call this something, for me, being in religion with God means that you have a transactional relationship with Him. It's, what can you do for me? Because if I do this for you, then you're going to do this for me. And relationship with God is transformational.
Right.
So we don't know the difference between the two, because we call it transformational or we call it relationship, but in all actuality, it's 100% religion. Yeah. And you guys talked about that you guys had to do certain things in order to be, this is the way you had to get it done. For me, that is serving God out of obligation.
Yeah.
I have to.
I gotta do this. Yes.
I have to.
Yes.
I have to fast.
Yes.
I have to read my Bible. I have to go to church.
Yes.
You're doing it because your mom or your parents told you to do it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it almost becomes
ceremonial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then when you walk down that path, it almost becomes like a burden. And I believe that's why a lot of people just end up leaving the church. They stop following God, or they just stop believing in Him in general. Like, man, you kidding me? Everybody's on this hamster wheel running like the rat race, and nobody's really going anywhere.
You said something about why people leave the church, and the number is like 65% or maybe higher. Like, the people that
Absolutely.
leave the church, and that's part of the reason, because they're boxed in a certain way, and then whenever they are different from what the church is doing,
Yeah,
then people don't like
you might as well stone
Exactly.
them. Like that's what it feels like. 'Cause in their own mind, it feels like, well, I'm being like casted out for just stating a difference of opinion in whatever it may be, and you feel shunned. Like, well, let me just keep my mouth shut, or you know what, I'm just not going to go at all.
Yeah. Something that our associate pastor said this morning in the meeting that we had was that he said, the closer you get to leadership, the more fake you realize that it is. And so when I think about transactional relationships and religion, what does it mean to be in religion with God? I think of all of the positions and titles that are held within the church, from elders to pastors to deacons to bishops to overseers and everything in between. When you have this transactional mindset and you make it all about religion, then it's all about getting to the next level. It's just like a job. It's just like that rat race. It's just like that hamster wheel that we've been talking about, right? Like, I got to get to the next level, because the next level that I get to, the closer I get to God. Yeah. What actually, that's the furthest thing from the truth. Yeah. You don't get any closer to God because of titles and positions or anything else like that. If anything, your life should be reflective of your relationship with God, and not so much about the religion that you follow and the things that you believe.
Absolutely. He looks at the heart. You know what I mean? So if your heart is in it, it's not a burden. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to. But you more in the mindset of, I get to do this.
Exactly.
I get to experience this. I get to have this, It just that little detail could switch your mindset completely, and it can turn your religion with God into a great relationship with God.
So true.
You said that heart piece is super critical, and you kind of mentioned it on the different levels that you reach in church. Because back in the day, I can remember like the pastor being the pastor, but his heart wasn't for the congregation. He didn't know a lot of people in the congregation, so that kind of positions and shows you where your heart is and what you're doing a lot of times. And if that heart is not, where it needs to be, and collecting the people and getting the people to really like serve and advance God's kingdom. If you're not doing that in the church, then the congregation's not going to.
Yeah, man. See, so that that was like a perfect segue, because that is literally my second point and what it's like to be in religion with God. What does it mean to be in religion with God? The first one we said was transactional, transaction based, right? But it's also performance based. Your people are more concerned with what you do than who you are. And that is backwards. When you have to tell somebody over and over and over again, well, this is what I do, you're keeping tabs, you're keeping tallies, right? And that's where condemnation comes from. Because as soon as you miss the mark, oh, no, you got this wrong. You got to start all over. You just lost all your progress that you just made. You didn't check this box, right? So let me tell you guys something. God loves honor, not duty. And let me tell you this, God is more concerned with who you are becoming than what you are doing. I promise you that.
Well, you know what I believe, honestly? I heard this one time, and the guy that said it, it really stuck with me. People's problem is they don't know who they actually are. They think because of the job they have or the career or whatever, I am an executive at this and that. Yeah, that's what you do, but who actually are you? And most people don't know.
It's an identity crisis.
It's an identity crisis because people don't want to take the time to actually figure themselves out.
Oh, yeah.
And to love is to love thyself. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do not love themselves.
How can you love someone when you don't know how to love yourself?
You don't know how to love yourself.
You can't give someone something you don't have.
Exactly. So when the Bible talks about loving your neighbor as yourself, you have to reflect. It's not a selfish thing, like, oh, me first, me. No, it's not that. What it is how do you look at yourself? Do you respect yourself? Do you honor yourself? Do you take care of yourself?
Do you value yourself?
Do you value yourself?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're actually worth here on earth and in the kingdom?
Yeah. Come on,
And
man.
if you don't know that,
Come on, man.
That's the problem.
most people don't know that.
Come
A
on,
lot
man.
of times, that struggle and that imbalance is because what are they seeking, and where they're seeking it
Exactly.
Oh,
Really
man.
It goes right back to the
Yep.
heart.
What's happening?
You know what they're seeking? They're seeking approval.
Yep.
Not acceptance. They can't accept who they are because they're not where they want to be.
Right.
So they seek approval rather than seeking acceptance. And guess what? God accepts you just the way you are.
Absolutely.
He tells his people, come as you are. Come as you are. Come raggedy. Come with tattoos. Hey, come fresh. You know what I'm saying? Listen, come with mismatched socks.
Think
It
about
don't
how
matter.
they were
Just
back
come
then.
to God.
Right.
Imagine when Jesus was walking down the roads. You think they were dressed like this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They had robes
Man,
and
listen.
their feet were probably
Sandals.
dirty, sands and
No
sandals.
socks.
All the man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Real and
That's
raw,
why I
baby.
said, come as
on,
you
man.
are, man.
Come as you are. Come
And
in
you
your
don't
mess.
Need to even, it's not even a thing about, you don't have to go to the biggest church or, the people with the most in the congregation. Where 2 or 3 are united in my name, there I shall be.
Let's go.
That come as you are is so deep, because what religion does a lot of times, you put on a costume.
Yes.
It's not truly who you are.
You put the mask.
Yeah.
You live that double life.
It's like that commercial where they put the little face in front and it's like a sad, or like they're smiling, and then when they take it off, they're like really, like that's who they really are.
Yeah, to me, they are public successes, but they're private failures. And I know so many people that are public successes in the eyes of everybody, in the eyes of the church. Man, I never would have thought this person. Oh my goodness, right? But then they make mistakes, as we all do.
Absolutely.
And that fall is so hard because in actuality, they were just private failures. You just didn't know anything about it.
Absolutely.
Here's another part to performance-based religion, as I like to call it. And for me, it's the people who think that they have to earn their way to salvation. You don't earn your way to salvation. It is by grace and grace alone that we have salvation in the first place. Last I checked, I didn't get on no cross and die for nobody, and neither did y'all. So there's nothing you can do that's ever going to earn your salvation. What you can do is seek the one who sent the one to actually die for you, to give you salvation freely.
That's the key.
Freely.
I like that. Like that.
Salvation is free.
I like that.
We are constantly surrounded in churches with rules and regulations. And listen, you can go to any denomination. Listen, there are, in the United States alone, there are over 200 different Christian denominations. 200 flavors. Pick which one you want. You want vanilla? You want Neapolitan? Yo, pick whichever one you want. You got 200 flavors of religion that you can actually follow. And that's just in Christianity alone.
Yeah.
And there's probably more than that.
And there's probably more than that. But what my point is that each one has its own rules and regulations.
Yes.
You can do this, you can't do this.
Yes.
If you do this, this is going to happen. Man, growing up, the biggest fear I ever had was making a mistake. Because if I made a mistake and the trumpet blew and the rapture came, I was staying here and I was going to hell. And bro, they would preach this to me because I was I said a bad word. I called somebody stupid, or because I didn't make my bed, or because I lied about doing my homework. All things that are normal. Everyone lies. It's not just kids. Adults lie too.
Yes.
And we lie worse than kids
And they
do.
lie to the kids.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
And yet, but they were casting stones. You know what I'm saying? But they never casted the net of love ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's like the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the ones walking around telling everybody, "Oh, you can't do this," and the people were the ones that were submitting to it. Oh, when Jesus comes around and he says, "It's not about what they're teaching you. There's something more to it than what they're telling you." The Pharisees were preaching fear and using their own works, using their own man-made laws to what? Control the people, keep everybody, together. And here comes Jesus, and he's performing miracles and doing this and doing that, healing and feeding and doing all these things.
And people are actually being
And
set.
even the Pharisees are like, who taught you? Who is it that, sent you and this and that? And he said, was it not my Father? You know what I mean? So they didn't understand that. And they were questioning everything that Jesus was doing. By whose authority do you heal this person? And that's one thing that it separated him from everybody else, which is why he drew so much attention.
But you want to know why? Because Jesus was relationship personified.
Yes.
And up until then, everything they knew was just religion.
Yeah. And he never turned anybody away.
Never.
No matter what.
No matter the lame, the blind,
Yes.
the sick,
And people came.
the demon
and he would
possessed.
even tell them, bless your faith. Like, your faith is the reason why this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I hope you guys see all these layers that are being peeled back.
That's right.
That's
right.
this is good stuff.
Listen, man, we are literally still at the tip of the iceberg. We're going to wrap this episode up. You do not want to miss next week's episode where we actually talk about how religion has changed us. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be powerful. Stay tuned. You already know who it is. It's your boy, Dave Vito. That's Jerome Colbert. And that's my boy, Anthony. And we are out.